everybody, good morning and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. It is so good to be with you. We are here at Jabulani Safari Lodge with some sleepy buffaloes enjoying the sun and some water. My name is Amy and I'll be with you for the show today. It's great to be back here with you all. I hope that you all enjoyed the show yesterday. I believe it was quite amazing with some lions hunting giraffes. So that is super exciting, my goodness me. And I'm excited for the show today. Who knows what it's going to hold? But if you would like to chat to me, you most certainly can. It is a live and interactive show. So please do send through any comments or questions that you might have throughout the course of the next 2 hours that we are together. And I look forward to hearing from you. It's always amazing to know that there are people from all over the world that are joining us and enjoying the sights and sounds of the waterhole. Now, when it comes to buffaloes here, you may wonder, why are they just lying out in the sunshine? But I have noticed with buffalo, especially buffalo bulls like this, they really enjoy the sun. And I feel like sometimes the hotter the better, especially when they can lie in a pool of water as well as bake in the sun at the same time. And they choose to do that because there's plenty of shade for them to go and lie in if they wanted to. But I've noticed even up in Pafuri in some extreme heat, nearing 40 degrees, if not more, in the middle of the day, there they are lying in the Liverpool River, baking sunshine, but of course nice cool water underneath. So maybe it's that perfect balance. And they don't have to worry about any sort of sunburn that it seems with all the melanin that's in their skin and in their fur. So they get to do that without worrying about too much skin damage. There's also 2 woolly neck stalks there just to the right, if anyone was wondering what those birds are with the white necks. Yeah, Jess, not a care in the world, 100%. Peter, they are definitely some chilled out buffaloes doing their thing here. Vicky, no. They are not only the ones that get into the water. Whole herds can, I've seen it myself, go for a swim in rivers or move through water, lie in the water. Definitely. It's just more often that we see buffalo bulls in small bachelor groups, often next to the river or sitting the whole entire day in one spot, sometimes in between reeds, sometimes on the sand, sometimes in the water. But herds, males and females will go into the water. It's not a bull only activity. Emma, yes. Buffaloes can wake instantly, even though they look pretty passed out there. They are alert. They're still listening and smelling. I think more than anything, hearing and scent when their eyes are closed, of course, are really important to them. And so they will react immediately and very quickly if they need to. Well, from one animal enjoying the water here, let's head over to another that's wallowing at Founders. Well, much the same, but different. And we also see the rhinos enjoying time in the water here at Founders. It's always so special to come to this location and to be able to see these beautiful animals. I do find though, oh, there's a giraffe. I just saw its head sticking out there. But I do find that buffaloes will tend to stay in one spot in the sun longer than rhinos, just in general. But we'll have to see how long this rhino stays in the water for. Rory agreed. They really do make places that I think you and I would find quite uncomfortable seem very comfortable, and whether it be the rhinos or buffaloes that we're looking at, but also leopards in trees, making marula branches or jackleberry branches or any tree really that they have to lie and look like it is a deluxe comfort king bed. It's quite something really when you think of how hard often the surfaces are that they're lying on, maybe scratchy as well. So a few interesting questions about rhinos coming through here. And Oliver, you would want to know if rhinos dream, and if they do they twitch or move during their sleep? You know, Oliver, I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen a rhino dreaming. I have definitely seen them snoozing away in what looks like a good sleep. And I have seen them definitely twitch in that time. And it's more so often for flies and things like that. I don't think, much like other prey animals, that they lose consciousness completely. I may very well be wrong. But from what I've seen, rhinos that are sort of resting and sleeping, at least during, times where they've been laying down and have been closing their eyes and look like they are sleeping, there's definitely still movement. And I've seen that with elephant, with buffalo, and with rhino. And that can be from, like I say, the ears moving. Sometimes they'll do a little shake of the head. I've definitely heard sort of heavy breathing. Not so much snoring, because I've heard them grunt, and I've heard them sneeze, I've heard them cough, and I've heard their sort of normal heavy exhales. But snoring itself, no. I've heard a lion snore before, but I haven't heard a rhino. So Oliver, yes, I guess during their sort of sleep, in inverted commas, there's definitely twitching and movement. But I think there's always a level of alertness, just in case. Especially a mom and a baby, for example. They are a lot more vulnerable. Maybe bulls get more sleep in that which they can actually start to have a dream. Lucas, so the reason we see animals lying like this, the ones that enjoy it, sleeping or resting half submerged in shallow water and mud, is because it keeps them nice and cool. So it is very warm in the Lowveld today. It's also warm here in the Eastern Cape, hot weather all round. And the water helps to just keep that body nice and cool. And while the top gets warm, the bottom is keeping cool, so it's like this perfect combination for them. So that's why they will take rests in the water, and also of course easy access for drinking as well. Oh, Jax, you were actually asking about if rhinos snore and make breathing sounds. So they definitely make breathing sounds. I've heard that. Like I say, I personally haven't heard a rhino snore, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of it. They could be lying at a certain angle where the air gets expelled a certain way, and so it causes snoring like sound. Jeff, I definitely think that there's an element of everything you mentioned in choosing a place where they're going to rest. Oftentimes, so they'll rest in the day like this, and in shady spots is also, so whether it's cool, whether it's hot, which way the wind is blowing. I think all of those factors are taken into account by the rhinos when choosing a place to lie down. At night though, based on what I've seen from early morning game drives, it's often that rhinos will have a rest in the evening overnight. It's not necessarily the entire time, but at about 5 o'clock in the morning, or even 4 o'clock in the summer, you can see them often choosing places like mitre drains or sandy patches where they will rest in the evening for an extended period, and then they start to get moving once the sun comes up again. And those sites are generally, they like sandier patches, because I think it's more comfortable for them, being the size that they are, to lie on somewhere that's a little bit soft. So I think that also comes into consideration when they do rest sort of for a longer period than just short bursts in the day. Well, let's head over to a hunting heron now at Rosie's Pan. Well, this is very cool to see. I'm just checking, but it looks like a black-headed heron. A little bit more of a longer neck, I find, dark on the back of the head there. Very beautiful bird. And very nice to see a black-headed heron, because we usually see the grey heron. It's the more common species around waterholes, but as you can see, we also do find the black-headed heron from time to time, although they are more associated with sort of grasslands or marshy areas. You can see that black head and all the way down the neck, but definitely around waterholes as well, just not as much as the grey one. Trying to work out what it's doing. It's checking something out. So I just had to go check that for you, Prudence. These birds can hunt a lot of small things, ranging widely from fish to frogs to rodents, reptiles, and even small birds. And I believe sort of up to the size of a dove is generally the size of prey, as big as it gets for them, because remember, what they have to do is swallow their prey whole, so it has to fit down their throat, and so anything that starts to get too big for them to swallow is not worth them hunting. Okay, let's head over to an interesting antelope and see what's happening with that. Alright, we are here at Cylinder Reserve in Botswana, and we have a lechwe, which is really cool, closely related to the waterbuck that we get in South Africa, also very water-based animal or antelope. And I believe that, I think it's the male with the horns, that is quite scarred. So we're just going to wait to see if he turns around so we can see that. But it does make sense. The males do battle in what we call leks to determine dominance and mating rights with females. So there will be casualties to that and scarring that takes place because of those fights.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
it does look like he has a lot of females around him. So it's very possible that he competed and this is his little territory that he set up with the females close by to him. He actually won the fight if he was in one. Well, we had to come over to Oldonyo here, but that's not a problem because we have a beautiful giraffe that looks like it's coming for a drink. Oh, another one is joining. How beautiful is that? Sophia, I know their drinking can look very clumsy and graceful at the same time. I think it's because they do look a little bit silly when they bend down, but at the same time, they do it very gracefully. So the whole demeanor of a giraffe is quite graceful, the way they walk and move. And I mean, yesterday afternoon on Game Drive, we had the most beautiful scene with giraffe moving across at Sandringham, and I was just blown away again by how beautiful they are and how stunning they are in golden hours particularly. But then you see them try and sort of bend down to drink, and they do look a little bit clumsy. So I think it's the combination of things there, Sophia, that does play into both things quite clearly. Jax, in terms of the times of day that giraffes prefer to drink, I don't know if there's been any sort of solid study done to confirm what I'm about to say, but what I have noticed is that they will often come at the times where, well, at least from what I've seen here at Odonia, with the amount of giraffes we do see coming to drink at this time of the day, is that they seem to come when predator activity is at its lowest, which does make sense in that. But I have seen giraffes drink in the morning, and I've seen them drink in the evening as well. But they do tend, at least here, to come sort of around the middle times of the day, or maybe later morning or early afternoon, just because that's when predator activity will be at its lowest. Ava, in terms of how much water a giraffe will drink in one go, it can vary greatly from just a few liters up to about 40 liters or so, depending on, of course, the size of the animal and how much water they are needing. But yeah, so I would say, generally speaking, it's probably 5 to 10 liters that they might drink at one time, especially if it's readily available to them, like they can come to this pan every day. But if it's been a few days since they've had access to water, they might drink a much larger quantity in one time. Okay, well, now that the giraffes have finished, we're going to head over to an elephant at Tembe. Seems like this boy is wanting to cool off and splash with a bit of mud. I always love to see the elephants doing this here. Although it does seem like he's rather having a bit of a snooze than carrying on with splashing himself. And an elephant like this can rest for a long time. I mean, I'm not going to give an exact length because it can vary greatly, but you can even see there, much like what I was speaking about with the rhinos, there's still a little bit of movement. So here with this elephant, the ears move, there's a tail flick every now and again, but for the most part those eyes are closed, and he's having a little bit of I like to say power saving mode is activated. Emma, I definitely think so. I think elephants have the ability to recognize individuals. There's some incredible stories of families or people in the wild that developed connections with elephants, and they recognize those people with enough exposure. A once-off sort of exposure, not necessarily that they're going to take note of every individual, but should they be exposed to that person, the sound of their voice, their certain scent that they have, over and over and over again, I definitely think that they begin to recognize that person, and then trust starts to build as well. And it's the same concept in a way with them and vehicles. Now that can either be a good relationship or a bad relationship, as with individuals, and like you say, it could even be poachers and tourists, and certain behavior that evokes. So certain sounds might trigger behavior, certain smells might trigger behavior, but they're not necessarily going to differentiate. If they've been exposed to poachers and certain sounds and smells that they're associated with that, they're not going to then be able to recognize, okay, well, this is just a tourist now. If there's anything that correlates to that, or if they've been traumatized through a poaching event, they might just associate that with all humans, and all vehicles. So that's why, they're not going to be able to say, just at first, that's poachers and that's tourists. No. But with enough exposure over a long time to be able to build up that trust, as well as certain individuals, I do think they can start to recognize, like I say, certain people. It's not going to be every person, and then also behavior associated with vehicles and things like that, which they also begin to trust because no harm has come to them through the vehicles and that sort of thing. So it is something that I think they're capable of doing, but it's not necessarily immediate. Ethan, yes, elephants definitely use their trunks not only to drink but also taste the air, whether it's for rain or food or people or certain threats that they might be smelling, because that trunk is essentially a extension of the nose. That's what it is. And so right up there between the tusks sits the nasal cavity, if not even further up, but I know there is sort of a space that connects all the way up sort of between the eyes into the sort of top of the mouth, essentially, with the organ of Jacobson and all of that stuff that's connected there. So inside of the sort of the bottom end of the skull, they would be able to then have receptors and all sorts of things that are connected to that, and then be able to, as you say, taste the air, which helps them understand their surroundings. Nice to see that there are some other Ellies around. Seems to be a time where everyone's just taking it easy. There are some warthogs, also woolly neck storks here. 3 of them at least. Lila, it is sure the concept of elephants mourning the bones of dead relatives is such a intriguing thing to discuss. It is definitely recorded, them visiting or coming across. I don't know if there's an intention behind the visit. I think that is to be determined, if they specifically go to these spots to revisit and sort of investigate the sites, or if they come across them in their movements through an area and then they sort of pay their respect. It's an incredible thing to see them do, and they will sometimes even stroke bones, pick them up. They've been known to go very quiet, sometimes make sort of soft rumblings. Now, what that all means, we don't know for certain, but there is an interaction, there is a recognition of the bones that are there, and what emotion they are actually feeling. We can't be sure if there's a true mourning in what we understand, or a respect that they're giving. But there is a recognition of those bones. And what's interesting to me is that I didn't see this for myself, but a colleague of mine at who was also driving at Sandringham said that the Black Dam Pride, and of course after that the carcass was eaten and the bones were left, and there was an elephant a little while later that came past that site and did a very similar thing with the giraffe bones, recognizing the bones, smelling it, investigating. Now, I don't know if that is anything like what they do with an elephant carcass, but it was interesting that they do recognize that there are bones there and are interested in them, to sniff and smell and acknowledge that, which I can't say that I've seen in that way with any other species. There are, of course, giraffes that would come and pick up a bone and eat it, for example. But in terms of that sort of recognition and interaction with the bones themselves, I don't know if any other species have been recorded to do what elephants do with them.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Like you say, as primates do, or the way we would as humans, but there is a deep connection within elephants and family groups, and they definitely share emotions. So if one is upset, it does impact the others in the group. And sometimes it's interesting because the more experienced females within the herd will not react to a cheeky bull, giving a little bit of a trumpet, or the little ones being a little bit more cautious of vehicles, for example, and being a little bit cheeky. You can see the parent will, the mom or the aunties will sort of just carry on doing their thing and ignore them. But should they really be upset and quite distraught, it does affect everyone. And I think there is a connection in that they will come together. Not necessarily comfort in the way what we would understand to be that, but being together, being close to one another, there's also communication that happens, definitely does bring a level of comfort. Mom always wanting to bring her baby close to her, maybe helping, using the trunk to keep it close to her. So I think there is a level of what you are talking about within elephants. Okay, well, let's head over to some zebra who have arrived for a drink at Old Doniel. Well, this is fascinating. They just arrived here, and I am just standing to the side now rather than getting water. I don't know if something put them off. Roz, you're watching from George and you say these peaceful scenes are making you nod off. I understand. I think it's the best type of nodding off, and it's one thing that it doesn't bother me if you all at home are just closing your eyes and relaxing to the sights and sounds, because it is part of what it's meant to do, is just feel so relaxing, and something very special that we get to share with you all. Peter, yes, giraffes definitely have different patterns, just like zebra. Each one is unique. None is exactly the same as the other. Although, of course, in general, it's the same. But the actual patterning and the combination of markings is unique for every individual. Alana, they are very peaceful with one another when it comes to giraffe and zebra at the waterhole. And as you can see, even now, it's very peaceful around here. And I've seen them drinking together many times. Sometimes the zebra in large numbers at a smaller space. Okay, let's head over to Rosie's with some buffalo. Well, here we go. We were talking about buffaloes earlier, males, females, do only the bulls get into the water? We've got a herd arriving here, everyone, and they are coming for a swim. Oh, they must be loving it. It is so hot here today in the Lowveld. Very welcomed after the rains, and everyone is loving it, including these buffalo. thought there might be more still coming. A real pool party happening here with these buffaloes. Wow, look at them all. We had some early birds here very keen to get to the water, but now the rest of the herd is arriving. There's going to be an entire sea of them here soon, I'm sure. Make space, everyone, make space. Yeah, Kelly, a buffalo pool party. I mean, we are very familiar with elephant ones. I've seen a buffalo pool party a few times, never on this show though. So this is very cool to be able to share it with you. Grace, so the oxpeckers would only stay on these buffalo if there was, I mean they could, but not, I mean they can't go underwater. They need to be out above the water. So they could sit on the top of the head there, or on the neck, or the face, if that was sticking out enough for them to do that. But generally, unless they're sitting very still for a long time, the oxpeckers would wait until they came back out of the water. But it is possible for them to land with their, on their heads while they're in the water. Yeah, Paul, I mean, fortunately there's no hippo here today. It would definitely have to move off with all these buffalo around. No space for it with so many that are wanting to be in the water. Orange, yeah, so this is a pan that I don't know if the pan itself is completely man-made, but it is pumped with water when it is needed. At the moment there's no need for that because there's so much natural water around because of the rains, but it is, I think maybe it was expanded at one point, but it's not specifically for the buffaloes, it's for all the animals within the whole region that can come to use this water hole for water at different times of the year. Now we're quickly going to head over to Safari Hook. I believe there's a bird of prey to try and have a look at it, and then we will probably come back here. Okay, well, it's definitely a bird of prey that has a yellow bill and brown, and that looks like a yellow-billed kite because of the completely yellow bill, no black tip as things like a tawny or other sort of eagles or birds of prey would have. So with that complete yellow bill, I think it is a yellow-billed kite. And in the heat like this, especially around Safari Hook and Namibia, often birds of prey will come for a drink. They'll also have a water bath to cool down, so it's not uncommon to see them at waterholes. Oh, there's the other one. So I think that's its partner. We'll just have to confirm. Of course, I haven't seen the whole face there. Could also be, oh no, that's a different species. It has a black tip to the bill, so that could have been a tawny eagle actually. But that's not to say there wasn't a pair of yellow-billed kites here too. Chris, I don't think their swimming abilities are too great at all, you know, compared to something like a duck or any sort of water bird and the adaptations they have to be able to do that. I think a bird of prey would be more likely to drown in a situation where there was too much water, and it, you know, I'm sure it could dip down or be exposed to it for a time, but realistically, you know, it's not going to be able to swim through the water and survive. Having a look to work out, there's a few options. I mean, I don't have the clearest view. I'm trying to see if there's a crest at the back of the head there, which would lean towards Wahlberg's eagle, but the coloration is looking quite smooth. There's also there's a possibility even for lesser spotted as well, which it could be. I'm just trying to see how sort of narrow those legs are. One of the key features for the lesser spotted is how we call them sort of stovepipe leggings, with the way how tightly fitted the feathers are on the legs. I didn't seem to see a crest there, which would probably then rule out Wahlbergs. Depending on the eye as well, the lesser spotted has a lighter eye, but at this distance I can't make out whether it has a dark or light eye. But so cool to see it. So very well could be a tawny eagle, but I'm not 100% sure exactly which one of those three it could be. There's just a few features that I can't see clearly. But nonetheless, a bird of prey, definitely the yellow-billed kite and then this eagle. Lucas, I think it's a bit of both. I have definitely seen raptors coming for a drink, whether it's a martial eagle, a fish eagle, a tawny eagle, other smaller birds of prey. It is possible, but I do think that they can also get moisture. Oh wow, look at that. That's incredible. I feel like it's announcing itself. That is a very small perch to do that from. It's highly impressive. It almost looks like it's using its tail to balance. Oh my goodness, I've never seen a bird do this before. I feel like it's making some big announcement or like, I don't know. It really is quite peculiar. It's obviously wanting the sun on its wings there on the inside. My name is Amy, and behind the camera with me is Paul. And I mean, to be able to share it with all of you. Fingers crossed, and I'll make sure I wear my lucky leopard socks as well.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
it will be interesting to see how long these buffaloes stay here for. They can easily start to do their resting and ruminating right in the water, which could mean that they're here for, it could be an hour, it could just be 20 minutes. It could also depend on the ones that aren't in the water yet, how feisty they get to want space for themselves. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens. And Noah, interesting. You want to know if buffalo calves join the adults in the wallowing? Is it fun or necessary? So I would say that what we're seeing here is not so much wallowing because it's not very muddy. It's more just a swim or a cool down. Not swimming, I suppose, like what we see elephants doing when they swim. But they are definitely coming here to cool down, and calves do it with the adults. You can see some little ones in between. Maybe for some of them it's more of a swim. And it is, I think, out of necessity is first and foremost to want to cool down, that sort of instinctual wanting to find water. But I do think that it's enjoyable, and that's why they stay and spend so much time doing it. Hannah, I think there would be an order. Buffalo herds are not just, random buffaloes all mixed together. There is an order to things in terms of the sort of ones that are in the front, the ones that are in the middle, and the ones that are in the back. The sort of leaders, as it were, although it is quite a democratic sort of, everyone agrees, or there's an idea put forward, and then you can see others agree, and then they sort of decide to go in this way or decide to move here. But there are sort of the leaders of the group, the fittest, the healthiest. It can be a mixture of males and females together. Then you've sort of got a lot of sort of the middle, moms and babies, also age-wise, it also mixes. And then you've got really at the back, often it is the eldest or the sickest, the ones that are the most weak, that fall behind. So even within this pool, you would have seen that the first to arrive got in straight away, and now some at the back are not even getting into the water at this point, but there are obviously there's movement, so they might circle around, but it is not completely random with buffalo herds. Okay, well, while these buffaloes enjoy the water here, let's head over to some rhinos who are enjoying the water at Founders. Well, it's always lovely to see them here, as well as the there's a few warthogs and zebra. This one's finding a spot. There we go. And so often, almost always, you'll find rhinos lying like this, with one's head facing one way and the other one's head facing the other way. And I think it's just an instinctual thing to be able to sort of be able to see 360 degree around them, at least almost all the way, with one facing the one way and one facing the other for security or protection reasons. Seems like the sun has faded a little bit here and the wind has picked up. Now the wind is great once you have sort of water or mud on your skin, as a rhino, to then feel that wind blowing over you, and it cools you down even more. And you can also see that this is quite peaceful here at the waterhole. Between the zebras and the rhinos, no one is too bothered about each other. Monica, absolutely. These animals do make every waterhole look like a resort, like it's the most relaxing place on earth, and definitely a place that I want to visit. Noma, you'd like to know how rough a rhino skin is compared to ours. It's a lot rougher than our skin. I mean, I have had the privilege to be able to touch rhinos and feel their skin from the sides to their feet to their mouths and their face many times, which I'm very lucky to be able to say that. And it's not as rough as I think we think it would be. It's actually quite soft in certain places, but it is, I mean, compared to our skin, it does have a leathery texture, and of course has to be tough to survive out in the wild. But it's not as leathery as an elephant's or as tough as an elephant's skin, I would say, in comparison. So yeah, it's difficult to tell you exactly, but it is like it's a finer leather feeling than an elephant's skin, and it's definitely tougher than ours. You tembe everyone with some beautiful ellies. And how incredibly green is this, my goodness, especially with a little bit of sunshine out now. Yeah, Hannah, always a great time for elephants at Tembe.
Wild Earth Travel has a green season special just for South Africans. Explore Botswana's Okavango, a remarkable mosaic of delta and savanna teeming with wildlife. Stay in elegant, luxurious tented camps deeply connected to the wilderness. Discover the Okavango on exciting game drives and tranquil boat journeys. Share stories beneath the stars, remembering what it means to safari through Africa's wild south. Wild Earth Travel. We're waiting for your call.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
It is always entertaining. Let's head over to a hippo now at Camelthorn. Well, there we go. Our hippo is out munching away. Can't resist the beautiful grass so close by. Okay, well, from here we are going to head over to Safari Hook. Wow, this is beautiful. Sophie, you were asking if they actually chew the grass. No. So it's an interesting one with hippos and their teeth structure. It's more sort of just like a biting, and they just sort of swallow it down. There are a few teeth around, but not like clear sets of molars like other animals have to really chew their food and swallow it. It sort of just goes down because they're grass eaters. That grass is small little bits that they pluck off as they go along, and so they don't really have that chewing motion like we see in other animals with the jaw working like that. But this scene here with these waterback, the zebra, the reflections are so beautiful. Wow, the clouds as well. Everything is really creating such a beautiful scene here today. Now, I have seen waterbuck grazing in the water before, especially at Tau. We see them doing that quite a bit. But in terms of actually, putting the entire head under the water and grazing at plants growing on the waterhole floor that aren't viewable above ground, I don't think they would do that. It's not something, unless they were desperate. In any sort of case, there's always exceptions. But they do feed on aquatic plants, and they enjoy grasses that will grow in waterholes as well, that are visible from that point of view, and they're very comfortable walking in the water to get to them. But in terms of actually grazing and sort of going down underneath the water to feed, I personally have never seen them do that before. Now wildebeest having a drink here while the others have moved off. Well, this is beautiful, isn't it, with the zebra and them coming to drink in the reflections. My goodness me. What a wonderful way to end off the show today. This is just picturesque is the word I would use. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here at Live at the Waterhole. It's been a wonderful show filled with some beautiful sightings. Everything was quite calm, but lots of animals around, which has been great to see. And to everyone who sent through comments and questions today, thank you so much. It was wonderful to hear from you all. Peter, it's a pleasure. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the show today. It was great having you with us. Of course, Live at the Waterhole will be back again tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday and Saturday for my last 2 shows before I have a little bit of a break before my next stint. But I will see you all again soon. Keep well, everyone. Goodbye for now.